You know, all those plans we had, we can't go and start a business and move to Bulgaria and give up our jobs and all of these things. We can't possibly do that. We can't because, why can't we? It's a very interesting point about when we first met, because we actually met before we knew we met, which was nice.
Well, no, that's right. We actually met in a bar, and in fact, I was with my cousin and Anne was on a works do, and it was a case of me going along as a guest with my cousin and Anne being in work mode. And so we just got introduced in a kind of very polite, well, you're in the same room, so really you need to be introduced. So it's more that sort of thing, like, oh, that's Anne, I'm not working there, so I'm just going to back off now.
And I thought he was with his girlfriend. But then we met again at the same place. It was another work you do, where your mate, an editor friend of mine, had been trying to meet up with us all evening.
Exactly, the entire evening, and it was really packed at this recording studio party, and he just kept on either texting or taking his phone to one side. It was really annoying. And I started sort of thinking, oh, well, he's obviously after her. But kind of played along with it and just spent lots of time on my own while he was trying to phone you.
Wow. Will you look at that? That's amazing. And then you left. And we thought, oh, well, there we go. And then it was getting so packed that I thought, well, I'll go. And it just so happened I fell out of the venue into a pub, and there you two were. And then, even then, we were having some nice chats, and, well, I was talking to Dave, and you...
You still really hadn't necessarily noticed each other.
No!
It was very much like just talking to Anne in accounts, sort of just passing some time, really. Love it.
Fast forward, we got up in the morning, having all gone back to Dave's and drunk more wine, and it all got a bit messy. And so we did the kind of very blandy, so tell me again, where do you live? What do you do? I'm sure we'd done all that the night before, but by then it didn't matter. But we got to London Bridge in order to go our separate ways, and you said, I'm really needing a smoothie. And I said, oh, that's nice. Go on then. And
then it turned into being a date because we spent the whole day together. And just couldn't, and really it snowballed over a period of probably a couple of hours that we just didn't want to be apart. Really weird.
We went shopping, we went for coffee, and then we went for some lunch, and then we did a bit more shopping. We went to bookshops. I think I got the latest Harry Potter, which was, that's how long ago it was. And then we went to the cinema, and then we went for another drink, and ended up going home 24 hours after we were supposed to. It was great, and I knew he'd ring me within 24 hours.
And I did.
He did. The second date, which was the first date, was, I suppose, it got a bit confusing because then we had to sort of do the, oh, well, let's meet up again thing on official terms. That was when we were having a, you know, seeing what we thought of each other. Although we'd done all of that, it felt a bit more interviewy.
I certainly wasn't getting hung up about what the date could have been. You know how you could think, what are we going to do together? What's she going to want to do? Maybe we could go bowling or something. And you sort of contrive something that you think, oh, they might be interested in that, or we'll go and do this because it could be fun. And if you do that, then, well, it's a good sort of veil for actually what's going on maybe between you. So I think we understood that if we just didn't actually have to do anything.
Yes, it was just a bar. We sat and chatted. and carried on. And actually it was easy after the first sort of initial, this is actually, I've had to dress up for this. Like last time I was in yesterday's everything. But this time, dressed up, done the thing, really aware of the status. But after the first hour, pint.
Well, I think I remember thinking as well, back to that thing of the activities, that if I was going to be with the right person, then we were going to enjoy each other's company, even when we weren't scuba diving or parachuting.
Or bowling.
Or bowling. We were going to enjoy just being.
Da.
Taka.
Da.
Okej.
Dobry. Po dobrej. I thought this is brilliant, which was just a weekend where we were just absolutely lovey-dovey all over the place. It was in St Albans, and we just had such a lovely day of strawberries and ice cream and kissy loveliness. And I think it was probably when we first got quite physical in all senses. And it was just so great, and that's when I thought, yeah, now this is brilliant. Now I'm feeling all cuddled and wanted, and I think that was quite important to me. So maybe that was the sort of non-verbal "I love you" exchange.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that my son was getting serious with a girl, but Anne seemed the right person for him. They seemed very happy together, and I think just right, absolutely right for each other.
Well, Jeremy, I think, is a perfect match for Anne because he compliments her very well, and he is such a nice, caring person, and he seems to put up with Anne's loudness quite well. So he stands out from the other people she's been out with in her past because he just really works well with her.
We needed a holiday, and we were looking for a cheap break away, and our very good friend Simon said, come and stay, or go and stay in my house. I have a house in Bulgaria, go and stay in it. So we did, and thought, this is quite nice, and had a lovely time, drove around a lot and explored everywhere, north, south, east and west. And then on the sort of the penultimate day, we got a chance to have a look at some properties and accidentally bought 2 of them. And then, even more crazily, got a bit drunk on the Bulgarian beer and made all these wonderful ideas and plans.
It just seemed to be, without anybody introducing us to Bulgaria in terms of what we could do there, that after a few beers we had all the answers for some reason. We had like schemes and plans and all the things we could do. We had no idea whether they were possible, and yet we'd talk to each other up, and I think you were saying, that's right, and I was saying, what a good idea. And of course it was all just, well, fluff. Yeah.
Yes.
We drove into a local village and bought plates and mugs and salt and pepper thing. I mean, we effectively moved in.
Yes.
And produced huge banquets of
roast dinners and wonderful desserts.
Bought lots more wine than we could ever consume.
Every flavour.
And yeah, that sort of moving in thing, I think, it just felt so much fun.
That we thought we'd do it
we
properly.
thought, well, we could have a go at doing this a bit longer term. So
we decided to move to Bulgaria, and within 4 months or 6 months, we had.
And I was tasked with picking them up from the airport at 7 o'clock in the morning, which I wasn't that happy about, but that was fine. So I drove there to pick them up at the crack of dawn. But on the way back to Watford, they said, oh, we've got some news for you. And I thought, oh, so many thoughts ran through my head. Is she pregnant? Is she getting married? What's going to happen? So there was no marriage proposal in that conversation, but they did say, oh, yes, we just bought 2 houses and we're going to move over there. And it was just stunned and amazed. And then I had to go to work and pretend nothing had happened.
I have to say that I was a bit upset, I suppose, because, you know, it's quite a long way away, and I thought, why Bulgaria? But then I went out to see them a year ago and realised how much they were enjoying it, and in fact, how much they were putting into this venture, and really going into it wholeheartedly, learning the language, which is not easy, and really making the most of it. So, no, although I was a little hesitant to start with, I'm actually all behind it now.
We then found something very near to the coast, which was absolutely spot on.
and old and gorgeous and wonderful, and we're going to make it, well, just the same, but suitable for Western living, because at the moment it's got no water or loo or, well, anything. So that's our next little project.
We're in.
It's a bit spidery. So proud. So here we are in the kitchen B. Note the wooden ceilings. Yeah, there's a few issues, like some damp down there and a bit there, but I think it's just old. I'll walk you through into the living room with this creaky door. And over there we have the chimney for the new fireplace, which will be lovely and cosy. That apparently used to be the only sink in the whole place, and that is really annoying. So there's no water anywhere, so that's all from the garden. We take you upstairs. It was just under a year, wasn't it, when it happened?
Oh, yes.
It was winter. It was absolutely winter, and it was cold, and it had snow on the ground up to here for 2 weeks, and it was horrible. We'd had to have conversations and cook, and I'd clean the whole kitchen upside down and back to front. And in the end, we said, no, we've got to go out. Even though there's snow up to here, we will go out and we'll have a beer. So we walked to the bar, and we got halfway through this beer, and I had a confession to make to Jeremy, in that I'd had a dream about a week ago that I'd been in London. I mean, not that I'd been in London very recently at all anyway, but I'd been in London, and for some reason, I was really trying to gear myself up and find the right time to ask him to marry me. So this dream popping up made me go, oh, where's that come from? I mean, ooh. So this has been sort of preying on my mind for ages, and so I eventually sort of said, I've had this dream about me wanting to ask you to marry me, but I never kind of got there. And you said to me, why didn't you ask me? And I said, because I was waiting for you to ask me. And again, that was a thing that I thought, I didn't even know that was the reason, but now you've asked, and that maybe is it. And then you just said, well, shall we then? Yeah. You're dead romantic.
But no, I wanted to, and I just kept on not having the right time. Actually, a lot of it was because we were in a stroll. Because the winter was dark and a bit gloomy. Groomy and gloomy, yes, exactly. And I was ill for a bit, and so there was lots of opportunities that just felt missed. And so, like a sort of project, it was like, right, we'll shelve it and get that box out again in a couple of months' time. Well, in fact, I thought, wait till the summer, but then...
Did you? For goodness sake. And then a mate of ours turned up, and we said, guess what we've just done? And poor old Tador said, oh my God, congratulations. But hang on a minute, aren't you already married? Because in Bulgaria, everybody is married.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, actually. So it was a bit of a damp squib. But no, it was great. And after that, we just sort of skipped and sailed on this. So it didn't matter how much snow there was. We were just, a little beam of sunshine all by ourselves. And everyone was quite excited on our behalf.
Can you see this?
The engagement ring, which we got in Turkey.
We went to Turkey. We went to Turkey for a weekend and found that after a lot of going up and down Jewellery Alley. But that was great, actually. It was the last shop we went in, and it was perfect. Lovely white gold with a lovely little diamond and all sparkly and gorgeous.
We went into a shop for I think probably the second time we'd been up and down, and they had some fairly all right stuff. And we were just about to give up, and I don't know why, but the chap was obviously quite a keen salesman, so he said, well, come and have a look at some stuff upstairs. And it was just like a shop within a shop, so this brand that they were importing had this little shop upstairs, and there was actually not very many rings there.
But they were all lovely.
Yeah, they were great.
And there were two particular ones that I had my eye on, and he thought that we were going to buy them both. He wrapped them both.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
And he was saying, right, there you go. And Jeremy's going, oh, hang on. No, it's just one finger, one engagement ring, one relationship. That's fine. Two would have been nice. But no, I went for the one with the solitaire, and it was very easy. But then the wedding rings was even worse because everything in Turkey seems to look really thin and quite brassy, too shiny. And of course I wanted something white gold to go with this. And we went up and down Ring Alley, and it was just, no, we didn't like any of them. So we ended up going back to Burgas in Bulgaria, a really nice little designery shop.
Very quickly, the woman in there pointed us to this one bit of the shop where there was about 5 rings and 2 of them were absolutely spot on. And it was a very quick decision because they were exactly what we had in our minds.
But we did actually go out of the shop, walk 5 paces up the road and go, no, we're going to do it. And went back in and did it.
Yeah, and that's happened a lot actually, that thing of, you know,
you go away and think about it.
Yeah, well, you see the very first thing is perfect, and then you need to go elsewhere to see that actually is that good.
But we didn't even bother going anywhere. We decided that was so obvious.
No.
We just stuck with it.
Well, organising the wedding from abroad, from Bulgaria, actually was quite straightforward, because we did it so far ahead of time, and we had Helen and Anne's mum, particularly in England, who were just so on the case straight away.
And Joe. So it was
yes.
it was the 3 ladies came together and asked all the pertinent questions, and we said, yeah, we want to get married at some point. Because when we talked about it at the beginning, we said flowers, if you like. Not really bothered. And the other thing was cake. Why? Why? I mean, for goodness sake. So not bothered about cake either. So the next thing we know, both mothers have got together and said, well, we'll arrange the flowers and we'll arrange the cake. What cake? Oh, we're having a cake now. All right then, good. So basically we just sort of said, okay, if you want all of those things, then that's great. And actually, what has happened is it's been great.
The organisation of the wedding kind of went in so many different directions. We all wanted a piece of it, I think, and I think it was just split up quite nicely. Myself and the other bridesmaid, Joanna, we got ourselves sorted, got ourselves dresses, and that was our part of it. I remember visiting the venue for the reception with Mum, discussing all that with her. We had several get-togethers, myself and the parents, just to see where we're up to, what do we need to, can I do anything? And I think Mum and Dad did the most of everybody put together, but we're all there for little bits and pieces as it went along.
This is the joy of organising a wedding from abroad. You just say to people, you do cake, we don't mind. You do some flowers, we don't really mind. And so it just happened. So the one thing that I was worried about was the dress. So as soon as I got the dress, I knew everything else would fit in. And it just so happened we got the dress from Turkey. Oh my God, what a dress. I love it. It's pink and glittery, which is sort of me. And so everything else sort of fitted around that. So everybody sort of went for the pink and glittery look in the end.
Well, neither of us are extremely traditional. I don't think either of us have ever done the girly, I want to get married, draw my wedding dress, none of that. So I wasn't at all surprised that it was going to be a bit off the wall, and I wasn't in the slightest bit surprised when we saw a pink sparkly dress that she said, that's my wedding dress. So none of that was a surprise. In fact, I was encouraging her to do whatever she wanted and make it her day.
I wanted something different that expressed me and my personality, which is why I didn't want a white dress. I mean, why? Why? How dull. Colours are fantastic, so we'll have as many as possible, or just a very strong one. And as it was, the dress I found was fabulous, just gorgeous. And I just wanted everything to be really just unique to us. I think that was the thing, wasn't it? Just totally us. It expressed everything that meant something to us, which is why Bulgaria came into it. All the place settings had little Cyrillic names and English names on them. We wanted to just incorporate everything that meant a lot to us now, as we are as a couple right now. And I think that was important. We didn't want to do everything like everybody else, because what's the point in doing that? I'm not Jordan, I'm not Victoria Beckham, neither do I want to be, no offence. But yeah, it's got to be, it's my wedding, I'll have it how I like, you know what I mean?
The St Michael's Manor thing was amazing. I mean, and it was actually a really nice surprise for us because we didn't know it, and we saw pictures on the internet, and that was it. And I mean, it looks as stunning as it is, but it's actually quite a nice surprise to turn up to the venue having never seen it.
And have it all beautifully decorated. And
because I think and from talking to friends and other family who've got married in this country where they've organised it all and it's all been a family organisation, you've probably been to the venue sort of 16 times.
And eaten all of their food already.
Yes, because you sort of don't want to leave anything to chance.
But we did.
But it was lovely just to turn up and just be gobsmacked with how it was.
We did pick the menu though, and we deliberately picked the menu with lamb as our main thing because we don't get lamb in Bulgaria very often. Only on the 6th of May, which is George's Day. So we were thinking, oh, it'd be nice to have some lamb. Ooh, and wasn't it? Fantastic. And in fact, it was all amazing. Well, the night before the wedding, Jeremy was in Watford doing his thing with his best man and his mum and, you know, sorting everything out at that end. And I was at home with the parents. And I had a lovely, relaxing day. I'd had some reflexology. It was relaxing and lovely. And I'd been so stressed up till then. It was perfect. And then my dad had this phone call from the Black Lion Inn.
Dad picked up the call, put it straight onto speakerphone so that we could all hear because it was something that we were all involved in, obviously. And unfortunately, for the next 45 minutes, we had Gail, the manager of the Black Lion Inn, telling us that she'd booked our rooms out to someone else. Despite having booked this a long time in advance and several visits my dad had made to the venue, and even in the same week he'd been up and been on the phone, it was just unbelievable. And my family's very, very calm and very peace-loving, that we're not out to do anything wrong to anyone, and one by one we all lost it at this point, and it was pretty awful actually.
The Black Lion Inn is just 2 minutes down the road from St Michael's Manor, and the guests who were staying over were going to just be staying there, so they could just wander down the road, drop off their luggage, get changed and whatever, have a couple of glasses of wine, maybe a little snack before bed, and it was all going to be perfect. And we'd go in and have a drink or whatever and say hi. And they said, no, there's 3 people who've wanted a conference tonight and we're in a really difficult situation, and normally we wouldn't do this, but it just so happens that we have to because we won't get repeat business. And we were really thinking, well, so what? This is the night before the wedding. She said, oh, we'll give you another hotel, you can have champagne all night. It was like, another hotel isn't 2 minutes down the road. Another hotel isn't going to be as convenient. She said, you can have as many cabs as you like. And I know what she was trying to do, but it was too late by then because already we'd had sort of 45 minutes of stress on the phone.
Gail wasn't budging, and unfortunately she didn't give us any choice whatsoever, and we just had to deal with it. And so, yes, we all kind of got very upset. My sister was crying. I was really, really angry that this had come about, and very, very disappointing.
Oh, it was so frustrating because I didn't want to upset anybody else, and I knew that it was upsetting for the parents, and I didn't want them to know that I was upset. But yes, and it was just a shame. It was just a shame. But there you go. It was a wonderful day. It was a wonderful day, and for us, we had a perfect time. We had a great bridal suite, and the St Michael's Manor was fabulous. But I know it's not what my mum had in her mind for how it was supposed to be. But you can't have it all, it would seem.
The morning of the wedding was absolutely hilarious because none of us had been sleeping for weeks before, and we were all up like clockwork in the morning, and showers and got dressed, or didn't really get dressed at all. We just sort of showered, and that was as far as we got. And then we got the other bridesmaid down, and we had mirrors and hairspray and mousse, and all 3 of us didn't have a clue how to do anything with our hair or our makeup, and it was just hilarious as we struggled to make ourselves look beautiful. And Mum and Dad kept popping in, do you want some breakfast? Can we get you a cup of tea? Can we help you at all? And it was just great. So that all flowed really nicely, and somehow, with half a can of hairspray each, I think, we managed to get our hair up and looking pretty good. All did a bit of each other's makeup, and it was wonderful. And so at the very last minute, we got dresses on. Bridesmaids got our dresses on, that was great. And then it was getting Anne into her dress, and it was just, once she put it on, it was just, oh, wow, it's all real now. So it was fantastic. We had a real good girly time. It was great.
I'm nearly there now, because all the time up until now, I was thinking, oh crikey, I've forgotten something enormous. And I was waiting to find out what that thing was. But I think apart from these, oops, these things here,
Oh, yes.
for the hair, we've done it. Oh, I know. So, very excited. Very excited now.
I think on the day we were just completely ourselves. There wasn't any deliberate pre-thinking of the tone of the thing at all.
No.
It was just we knew that we were just going to, well, we knew we were going to love it, and just went with the flow, really.
My dad loves the idea of his girls getting the best treatment and being looked after and made sure that everything is traditional. He's quite traditional, really. And it was important to me that it was right for him as well. So I think it was, well, in fact, I really wanted him to walk me down the aisle, and it was great to share a car with him and have a little gossip with him as at my final moments as Miss Liversidge before embarking on my life as Mrs. John. But I think he really enjoyed that.
My dad isn't the most vocal person and doesn't show too much emotion, but he's a big softie, and I think that for him to walk Anne down the aisle was just his dream come true, really. I
was very thirsty. I was saying to my dad in the car all the way there, I was thinking, I've remembered everything. I remembered to bring my hair things, I remembered my dress, but I always have water with me. Why haven't I got water with me now? This is ridiculous. And my very good friend Simon whizzed over with a carton of orange juice, which was just a big carton.
What percentage of vodka's in there? 50-50? 50-50, yes, I think so. No, pure and natural, like me.
We were just waiting for Jeremy to go inside so we could go into the registry office. Once we got in there, Anne was ushered off into a little room to have a chat with the registrar, and we were all getting so excited. The other bridesmaid, our Gay of Honour, was there as well, so we finally got to meet him there, and a little niece of Jeremy was another bridesmaid, so she was there, and we all had our flowers, and we were whooping like you wouldn't believe, and the receptionist just kept saying to us, I'm sorry, I can't hear myself on the phone, can you just keep it down? But we couldn't because we were so excited. So we were just running around being silly and trying to curb our enthusiasm. As we waited to go in to walk behind Anne down the aisle, we were all switching places. Who stands where? What do we do? Can we walk straight? How do you walk? Can't remember. And it was just hilarious. Just trying to keep it all together, and yes, it was great.
I remember the registrar saying, "You may turn round now."
Oh, did she?
Because I'd been sat facing the desk for about 20 minutes while people were behind me, and I could just hear sort of whisper, 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 and jostle, jostle, and occasionally Flynn would come up and did actually massage me for a bit. Yeah.
Oh. Well, I did see, actually, just afterwards, Jeremy's sister Alison showed me a little video of footage of me walking up the aisle, but she also was trained on Jeremy right up to the last minute, so I saw the expression on his face when he saw me, and it was just a big grin, which I suppose that's a good sign. It didn't look like shock.
I don't think I could articulate it, actually.
No.
But it was a great feeling, fantastic, euphoria, really excellent. Here we go. But yeah. I couldn't put it into any more words than that, really.
When I first saw Anne in her dress today, of course, I thought she looked absolutely stunning. I mean, all brides look lovely, but Anne particularly, it was just so different to the white bride gown. Anne, in this lovely, shocking pink dress, looked absolutely fabulous.
I mean, yes, it's a very legal and hugely important ceremony, which was quite nerve-wracking, but at the same time, we wanted to enjoy it and have fun with it.
They enjoyed the ceremony rather than were frightened by it. They're both old enough to know what's going on, and they were up for it, and they had a good time.
Even if you've never done it before, you know the bits where you're supposed to really behave like an adult, and then you know the other bits where you can, well, not muck about as such, but the odd laugh here and there isn't going to ruin it.
No, absolutely.
They're not going to say, no, do it again.
No, I wanted to enjoy it.
As long as you don't change the words.
Well, exactly,
Which
yes.
was my worry.
I call upon these pyjamas.
Kittens.
Yes, no, that wouldn't have worked.
Exactly. Well, I chose Flynn as my best man because he's the person I've known the longest, and he's probably, yes, he's my closest friend, and also because he knew Anne, so he's known Anne and I as an item from the beginning.
They came back to England just for a little visit, and we just got out for a drink in the afternoon, and just a little while into the conversation, Jeremy said that he told me that he had proposed to Anne, and kind of I knew what was going to come next. I knew he was going to ask me, so I was kind of grinning for them both from ear to ear. And so when he asked me, I was obviously very, very honoured and happy, and then scared.
That was a very easy decision. He was very nervous about the whole thing, and I think also any thinking about speaking in front of people is always tainted by the idea that those people might be judging you, that somehow you're trying to sell something to them, or you're trying to sort of get them on your side, whereas in fact they're rooting for you from the beginning. And I think he discovered that as soon as he started. He did a really good speech.
Now, I would actually like to thank Sue at this point for allowing me to play with Jeremy. Not all the other mothers were quite so kind.
I left the doing of the planning of the speech quite late, and I think that was because I've done enough speaking in front of lots of people to know that I wasn't going to be nervous, or that I knew I could do it. It was about 2 weeks before, and then it sort of slowly came together, and lots of little notelets and everything, and I picked up stuff from the internet and just kept on writing things down in a little book. And then it really was the night before and the morning, actually. Well, because I was looking just inside my head for kind of inspiration as to how to start it, and I mean, it felt like a sort of like a giving a lesson thing, where you have to kind of, what's my motivation and what's my start and what's my initial selling bit.
So I used to do this sort of as a living as a teacher, and I thought this is going to be very unlike being a teacher, because I won't be asking you questions, but I'd like to. I mean, it'd be quite a nice style if I could just say, I don't know what to say, what do you want to ask me? You start. No, in fact you start, because you started last time. And of course I can't tell anybody off for being late or talking, so it's all going to be a little bit of a ramble.
We wanted the wedding itself to be on the Wednesday because of the significance of the date, which is my grandparents' wedding 70 years ago to the day. So in 1938, on that day, they got married. So I thought it'd be lovely to have the same day. But of course it's a Wednesday, and that's sort of a bit rubbish for people who go to work and have proper lives. And so it seemed like a good idea to have a completely separate party. We'll do the posh, grown-up, sensible bit with all the posh, grown-up, sensible people on the Wednesday, and then go a bit mad on Saturday. And seeing as we've had 2 or 3 fancy dress parties in the past, we thought we'd just do fancy dress again.
Well, Anne is a very flamboyant character, and I think to start off having a pink sparkly wedding dress just sets the scene and just complements her so well. And to have a fancy dress party, it's just the ultimate party, really. It brings everyone together. It's going to be so much fun, and I just think it's a fantastic way to start their married life on such a high.
We've had so much correspondence from everyone. We've had emails, we've had all sorts of phone calls saying we've been to the costumiers, we've been to the theatrical department of the local group, and they've all got fantastic ideas and costumes, and nobody will tell us. So we're so excited to see what they're going to be. And they don't know what we are either.
Both Anne and the bridesmaids, we all want to wear our dresses again because they're so lovely. So having worn a black bridesmaid dress, I'm going to go as a witch. So perfect time of year to be shopping for witches' outfits with Halloween coming up. So I've got myself a nice hat and some very naff stripy tights. I'm going to look so glam.
I'm going to be Dracula, so Anne's going to be Bride of Dracula.
So we have fangs, fake blood, the works.
They didn't want a big do, they didn't want lots of presents, they just wanted it straightforward, but we got round to at least this much for the family. And on Saturday night we're bowing to Anne's wishes, and it's a fancy dress party for I don't know how many, but that'll be fun.
We were going to go as this and that. My husband and I do a fantastic Victoria and Albert, but it didn't apply this time. So we think we're going to be Robin Hood and Maid Marian if we can get the costumes together.
But I think, again, it actually goes very much with Anne. She's, can I say, theatrical? You know, that is Anne, and so I think it's just the right thing, and I'm sure it'll be a great party.
Well, you only need to look around the room to see Anne's influence on this party. Everybody has decided that they would join in this tremendous fun and come as all the different characters.
Oh, it's just everybody around. I just can't believe it. It's just so Anne, isn't it? This is the whole, the whole thing about it is absolutely brilliant. And I am your fairy godmother. Can I grant you all? Anything you want me to do for you?
I started off by coming as Little Red Riding Hood, but unfortunately when I got to the door they decided I was one of the ugly sisters. Which brings me to Anne. No, it doesn't. No, anyway, Anne's a lovely girl. She's my daughter's best friend, and they've been together since school days, and my, how she's grown. All the very best, Anne. Love you.
Tonight I've come as Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I have 3 little bears in my bag. I've known Anne since we were 11. We met at secondary school, and so it's absolutely amazing to get to share in her big day and just to see her settling down and being happy and doing grown-up thing like getting married to a fantastic bloke like Jeremy.
I haven't actually seen them for nearly 2 years because they've been in some Eastern European place, haven't they, I believe? And then, of course, I found out that they're getting married. And here we are in Free and Barnet, first time I've been here. Fantastic. And I'm dressed like this.
When I first heard that Anne was going to get married to Jeremy, I thought, that is fantastic. If they can live together in that little flat in Bulgaria, then they can live together forever.
I'm a fairy. I've known her since I was 11 because we were at school together from secondary school, so a long time ago. I was with Anne in Newcastle on the 10th of December 2005 when Jeremy sent her a text that said he loved her, and that was the first time he said it, and we were in the hotel room going, oh my God, how lovely. So I was there.
My reaction when I heard that they were going to get married, A, stunned, B, very hopeful for my own self. Because, yeah, Anne was never looking for the one to get married to. And then all of a sudden, her whole perspective changed.
When Anne said that it was going to be a fancy dress wedding, I thought, how perfect. It's just perfect for Anne. And in fact, I was at the first summit meeting where we were talking about the themes. And yeah, I was watching Jeremy's face and he was really kind of politely smiling. But oh my God, he's totally thrown himself into it. And yeah, it's perfect. It's just great for them. Absolutely.
I just wanted to say congratulations. But I can't say it with these fangs in my mouth. So I wanted to say congratulations to Anne and Jeremy. When Anne first got together with Jeremy, I thought, what a lucky guy Jeremy is. Because I just say anyone who's with Anne has such a lot of fun, and she just goes for anything that she fancies doing, and she jumps straight in, both feet, and they're going to have such a fun time together for the rest of their lives.
I think they work so well together because they've got two different personalities, but they dovetail together in a very pleasant. It's lovely to spend time with them, and I think Jeremy's kind of quieter, but he appreciates bubbliness, and if you get a few drinks in him, he'll bubble too.
And boyfriends have all been quite different, and Jeremy was great when I did meet him, and you could just tell immediately that they absolutely complemented each other and that this was different. He is really happy to let her be who she is. She's a very gregarious character, and he just is really happy to bask in that and enjoy that, whereas maybe some of her other boyfriends have, you know, been a little bit intimidated by that, or, you know, wanted the limelight for themselves or whatever. And he's just such a lovely man that really, you know, they're just so well suited, and yeah, he's very different. It's great.
I'm Simon. I am one of probably Anne's oldest friends. I've known her since I was 11, and let's just say I've seen her get through a few boyfriends, one of which was me. That was when we were both 14. Boyfriends have come and gone. I have actually liked all of Anne's boyfriends, but Jeremy is in a class of his own. From the beginning, everybody knew that they were kind of made for each other, and I'm just thrilled that they've finally gone through with it and tied the knot.
When I first heard Anne got together with Jeremy, I was really pleased that she'd finally met somebody. Really happy for her, and obviously when we met Jeremy, we knew that, you know, he was the one, and we're just really happy that they've got to today.
They want life. They want life in the big sense. They want the humour. They want the adventure, and they want the good things. But they're not in that big material world. They just want things on the sort of ground level. And they're happy with a sunny day, you know, and that makes a lot of difference when you're not. You know, you're not tied down with other things, and I think Jeremy's always given me that inspiration.
When I first heard that they were going to move to Bulgaria, I was kind of sad because I love Anne. She's great, and she's kind of a great resource from a purely selfish point of view. It's lovely to have her right there. Of course, she's still right there, but I don't have her in the flesh. And there is something very great about her in the flesh. So, but we Skype, and that's all good. And she loves it out there. So that's great. Makes me happy.
Jeremy and Anne are just inspirational, the way that it just seemed to work from day one. And even though we haven't seen them because they've been in Bulgaria, the fact that Anne is sending these blogs and stuff, but even the phone calls that we make, it's just, they're such a team, and they're just enjoying what they're trying out, and it's just amazing that, you know, they could both actually click with that idea, go to Bulgaria, see how it goes, and to hell with it, leave everything behind, not worry where it's going, permanent or not, and it's a wonderful idea.
When I first found out that Anne was moving to Bulgaria, I was quite shocked because although she'd lived in Germany for a while when we were all at uni, you know, Bulgaria, I mean, where's that? It was quite a surprise, but to be honest, she's a bit of a free spirit, and obviously they've made such a huge success of it that, you know, I think she was kind of destined to do it, really. So, yeah, it's great, it's really exciting.
When Anne first moved to Bulgaria, I thought, will it be enough for Anne? Because Anne likes glitter and people and excitement. But she's settled very well, and I think she'll love it, and they'll be very happy.
I know that. Very good.
I think Anne and Jeremy will be happy ever after because they just seem to work. They're just very nice, very pleasant people with a high degree of emotional intelligence, and I'm sure they're going to last forever.
They'll live happy ever after because they're really happy now, and they've been happy for a long time. So what's going to change? They've gone through so much. They've gone through things that would be really difficult in other relationships, and it's all been a complete breeze. In terms, it hasn't rocked their relationship at all. They come up with these problems and they think, oh, okay, what are we going to do? And then they fix it. So it's all fine.
I think Anne and Jeremy are going to live happy ever after because they just go together so well, and obviously knowing Anne for years, this is the happiest I've seen her, and I just think they're a perfect couple, so they're bound to live happy ever after.
In addition to being one of Anne's best friends, I happen to be the director of Happy Ever After, this particular edition. So to actually provide Anne with a lasting memento that will be with her for years, as well as be present at her wedding, is quite special for me, and I know that they will be happy ever after.
Well, I'd like to think that Anne and Jeremy will live happy ever after because they're such a fantastic couple. They've weathered many different stages of their relationship. They've moved across countries. They've had so much adventure, and I think they've got so much yet to come. And because they make such a brilliant couple and they laugh all the time, I think there's no question that they'll live happy ever after.
I think that Jeremy and Anne will be happy ever after. I think they have the right, their personalities, the two go together, and I think they're very solid together.
I think that Anne and Jeremy know each other very well, so this is a very good start. They were friends before anything else. They did know each other. And I think they did actually put on their wedding invitations, come and join us for the beginning of our happily ever after, and I think that's what it will be.